Hello! This reaction is the reaction to the new Antman and Wasp official trailer. And update on the Avengers Infinity War trailer. I did end up watching it probably... Actually, I have no idea. But I had a good break. I had like 60 watches of it, and then I took a couple of weeks break, watched it a few more times, couple of weeks break, and continued round like that. So I've probably watched it about 70-ish times now, but I don't think I'll watch it anymore. I'll wait until the next trailer comes out, which, whilst this isn't the next Infinity War trailer, this is the next trailer. I loved Ant-Man. I saw myself a lot in Ant-Man, not the criminal part.
I just have one question.
When Cap needed help,
If I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
hold on, you gave her wings?
And blasters.
So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me?
No, I did.
Oh, God. It looks as ridiculous as ever. So ridiculous. A giant pears floating. Wasp looks cool. I know Cap let them out or sprung them from the raft prison. Why is he not? Well, they did say that they were being hunted down, but he's able to see his daughter and stuff when he shouldn't really be able to. And how do they find each other again? Unless they're always in contact. Oh yeah, because he can contact him through that. I would have thought that the government would have some technology that could hack into that frequency. But I like the logo. The logo reminds me of the Green Hornet logo. Like the logo's kind of similar. They're both insects and.
Hey, not me, him, stupid.
Well, that was my reaction to Ant-Man and the Wasp official trailer by Marvel Entertainment. It's already got 9 million views. But I shall see you next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Comment what you thought of the trailer, and I shall see you next time. Farewell. The comedy fits the trailer like it fits the movie, like it fit the last movie, with Paul Rudd as the lead, bringing his humour to it, and a lot of the lines are probably improvised. The tone is set, and I really hope it lives up to the previous film, as well as it's very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. where it's just a funny film, and a little known character making such a big impact on as a movie as well. Antman and the Wasp will be the... Is it the last film of the year, or is there 4 this year? Because Black Panther has premiered, Infinity War is in May, and then Ant-Man's in July. Is there not a film later on than that, or is Ant-Man the last film? If so, that's a big gap between, which is Captain Marvel, which would be the beginning next year, and Avengers 4 then, the Untitled Avengers film, in May next year. And then, what's after? Is there nothing after that? Likely a Spider-Man Homecoming sequel after that. But it is strange that Ant-Man the Wasp is going to be the last film of the 3 this year, because Black Panther sort of builds up the hype and is a very motivational film with the first sort of black lead character. And then Infinity War is the culmination of everything that's gone before in the past 10 years. That is just the hype explosion. And then there's Ant-Man the Wasp as the 3rd one, which is just a funny comedy superhero film. And I think it's taking place after Civil War but before Infinity War. So you don't know what's going on with that. And then obviously Captain Marvel was based in the 90s. So again, you don't see what's going on with that. It shows that the Wasp is much more qualified than Ant-Man was. Even with the way that Pym gave her wings and blasters. And not Ant-Man. I didn't feel good about him riding another ant instead of Anthony, because Anthony died in the last film. I don't understand what's going on with the whole him escaping from the raft, because he has an ankle bracelet, so it looks like he's under house arrest or something, and the FBI were there, so if he was on the run, then he would just be arrested and thrown back in there. So there must be some sort of compromise where probably he signed up to the Accords or something. I would love it if they did another of those slap ant trailers where they were like, ants, ants, Ant-Man. I'd love it if they did something like that. More that sort of marketing, like that, and the Day with Thor, whatever it was called, Team Thor. That more of that sort of marketing. I like how this movie can build upon what happened before it, not only the Ant-Man film, but the Civil War in between the two, because obviously he was in that and the story sort of continues on from that. The knife scene with the Wasp running on the knife reminded me a lot of the scene in Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man film, where he was running on the gun and he sort of jumped up and front flipped just before the bullet flew out and was running on the gun. But obviously it looks cool as well. The building's insane, and they probably don't care about how all the physics work. Plus the physics would be different once it was small, but you would imagine that everything inside it would be getting chucked around and broken and stuff. And the car's cool. The momentum, from my understanding of physics, would work like that if it didn't just blow up. If the one that they grew underneath of didn't just blow up, it would fly like that. And this film is obviously it can't be compared with the other two films because it's a humorous standalone sequel whilst having tie-ins with, like, following on from the Civil War, which obviously was a huge film. This is more compressed into its own story, and that's well, that's not better, but that's good for something straight after, based before, but comes out straight after Infinity War. The pairs at the end, the Hello Kitty pairs, would be so terrifying to see that flying towards you. You just jump off, and you just see this thing float above you, and the Hello Kitty face is like there, looking at you. That would be terrifying. And I also think that's probably product placement. They're being sponsored by either Hello Kitty or Pears. My guess is Pears, but obviously Pears and Hello Kitty both teamed up on the Hello Kitty pairs, so whatever. And the Hot Wheels or Micro Machines, the like flamed up car, is probably product placement as well, like the Thomas the Tank Engine, the last one. Or they could just be toys that they chose, but in the end they'll probably have some sort of deal out of it. Don't know who Lawrence Fishburne is playing, but I'm also confused that he's in it because he's Perry White in the DCEU, and I don't understand how he could be allowed to be in both universes. I don't know who the villain is, that like person with the 4 eyes or whatever, and then I'm guessing that's the person with the glitchy hand. Which actually the effects on that reminded me of a film I loved in the early 2000s called Clock Stoppers, where they froze time. Well, they didn't freeze time, but that's a spoiler. Spoilers if you want to watch it. But in it, they freeze time, and then they're walking around in frozen time. And then towards the end of the film, something happens, and there's like a machine that allows the entire space to be frozen, to be running whilst everywhere outside of it is frozen in time. And they use the watch, because it's a watch, to freeze time in the frozen time. And it's that sort of effect that the guy who does it goes all glitchy and is able to sort of like walk through walls and be impervious to bullets and stuff, but fire extinguishers and cold gases and air cannons and stuff can slow you down to the point that you're back in the room or back in normal time. And that was a very similar sort of effect. So it might be something to do with time or speed or something, which would be interesting. Because obviously, like Flash can run at super fast speeds, and can time travel, makes things look as if it stands still, and can do all sorts of stuff like phase and do that sort of stuff too. So it's similar sort of aspect. So I wonder who that is. Is this the first film to have a female lead in the title, and also to have, like, instead of it being Ant-Man 2 something, it's Antman The Wasp? I mean, there was Captain America not Civil War. There was Captain America The Winter Soldier, but that was Captain America underlined The Winter Soldier. And also the Winter Soldier wasn't the sidekick at that point, it was the villain. He was the villain. But in this, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp as the title, and she's the partner, and it's a woman. And it's going from the first film where it's a solo film to the second film where it's a duo. And they're both in the title. I think it's the first time they've done that. In the scene where he sort of rises out of the water and looks at those people down the boat, he at least looks much bigger than he did in the airport scene where he grabbed War Machine. And he was very reminiscent of a giant monster like Godzilla or the I can't remember what the kaiju in Pacific Rim, just rising out the water and looking down on the puny people below. And the last shot before the last, I think I saw the guy who speaks over I can't remember his name from the first one. I think I saw him running away from something in one of the quick shots. And then the last quick shot was a ship in what looked like was surrounded by like microscopic stuff like tardigrades and things. So I'm guessing that's the microverse, but I don't know why they would go back to the microverse after his wife was lost, unless they're going to find her, or someone else gets lost in there. Ant-Man was able to find his way out last time, and who they're either going to save or maybe research or maybe just explore. But yes, that's all for now. Any comments down below? You can like, comment and subscribe down below. Links to my social medias in description, or most of my social medias in the description. Tell me what you think. If you know, tell me who the villain is and who Lawrence Fishburne is playing, unless it's spoilers. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Farewell.